The film you're about to watch is a visual record of the Ulster Canal as it is today, from Loch Erne to Loch Ney, approximately 50 miles. It starts Finn River and the approach to Loch Sarah and then Mackarel Bridge. From there, we enter the canal at Loch 25 and travel northwards, across the country of counties Fermanagh, Monaghan and Armagh, until we eventually reach the Blackwater town, which is planned to be the new northern entry-exit point of the canal to the river. Blackwater then takes up into Loch Ney, and that's how that river is reached.
So this video clip is of the section from the canal stores here at Clonus through to Smithborough. This is a lovely example of a restored canal store, and you can see the lovely arched doorways where the lighter would have sailed along the canal here. The goods would have been unloaded into the canal stores, stored for onward distribution by horse and cart around the countryside. So enjoy the rest of the clip as the helicopter shows us the aerial view of the Ulster Canal. So here we are, airborne at last, and we're looking over the town of Clonus. I always think Clonus is a town in waiting for the reopened Ulster Canal. The blue line indicates the canal itself, sometimes infilled, sometimes clearly visible. Here it's running alongside the Finn River. Clonus was a very well-known railway junction, having lines from Cassells and Dundalk, and another line from Armagh, onward to Cavan and Enniskillen. The area too is plentifully supplied with small lochs, and indeed there's one coming up now, one of 21 lochs in the area. This one's called Bishop's Loch, a lovely marginal reed bed surrounding the loch, stocked, I'm told, plentifully with fish. And soon we come up to Gleer double lochs. These are the only double lochs on the system, and a pretty little neglected, disused lockkeeper's cottage. So now we're going to have a chat with a good friend of mine, Gerald Mackarel. Gerald, you recall your father telling you about the lighters bringing loads of goods up the canal. What would they have brought?
Well, the slates for my aunt's house, which we used to come up to visit, my slates for it were brought by boat and that off here at the bridge.
Right.
And then.
Yeah. And I wonder where they would have come from.
I imagine probably some of the merchants, maybe Monaghan,
right.
Possibly.
Right.
I wouldn't know.
But, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then I love the little story you told me about the old boy sleeping in the towpath here under the bridge.
Oh yes. My sister and myself used to come up and visit my aunt here in the house, and we knew that there was an old chap, Mickey Moore, we called him. Yeah. We would have called him a road walker at that time. Yeah. And we came up to visit, and when we were visiting, we'd slip down here and we'd peep from up there. We'd peep in. We didn't want to annoy him because we weren't afraid of him.
Yeah. Had he a bed there?
He had a bed of straw there,
right.
And would walk the road with a walking stick.
Right. And where did he get his food?
He had various houses he would call at. They would come out to the door with a big mug of tea, 2 slices of bread, big homemade bread, on the plate, and he was set on a chair outside the door because at that time he would have been...
And what age of a man would he have been?
I would imagine he probably, in my mind, he was, we'll say, somewhere 50, 60 type.
Right. And you weren't afraid of him?
No, we were never afraid of him. He was we always reckoned he was probably a kindly old man.
And how long would he have slept here? How long would he have lived in under
My thoughts on it would be that he could have been somewhere, we'll say, maybe 15 years or something like
Very
that.
good.
Yes.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, yes. And sometimes when he wouldn't be in it, if we were here, we may see him coming walking up the road with a stick, and he came down round the corner and in here, and we would say very quiet but nice, and we'd see him settling down on the bed of straw.
Yeah.
There,
Lovely.
and he'd be settled down for night.
A lovely story.
Yes. So that was the Mickey Moore.
Back with the helicopter again and this aerial view of the tree-line section of the canal. The reopening of the navigation is a fascinating cross-border project. It weaves in and out of the border 4 times in its journey from Lough Neagh in the east to Lough Erne in the west. A lovely area this. You can still actually walk part of the towpath through the trees here, and you can see the lots of isolated farmhouses, and often access to the canal is quite easy from the minor roads in the area. So coming up soon we have one of the very interesting aqueducts. There were 4 on the system, and this one that we're coming up to is the Finn River Aqueduct, taking the canal over the River Finn. It's a 3-arched aqueduct and in remarkably good condition, though to all intents and purposes one of the arch is actually blocked at the present moment in time. Again, a lovely section of the canal clearly visible. I recall walking this section a number of years ago and finding a sign, a metal sign, which said L.N. Company. And that reminds us of the time that the Lagan Navigation Company actually took over the Ulster Canal, took over the running of it. The Lagan Navigation Company had been a remarkably successful company in administering canals, but they didn't find so much success, sadly, when they were running the Ulster Canal. The narrow locks, the lack of water, and the onslaught of the railways certainly were all factors in sounding the death knell of the Ulster Canal. This is one of the structures that sadly we've lost. Some farmer perhaps didn't value the structure as much as we waterway enthusiasts would value it. But fortunately that hasn't been the case in most of the fine bridges and locks and other aqueducts along the length of the canal itself. Here you can see the canal skirts a minor road, and the mushroom houses coming up on the left introduce us to Temple Tate Lock, number 22, with a derelict, rather sad looking little lockkeeper's cottage. This is the living room, and you can, I'm sure, visualise the conversations that might have been held in this room all those years ago. And this is coming up to the end of this part of the video along the Ulster Canal. We're coming up to the last lock on this section, Cumberland Lock, near the town of Smithborough. The GAA grounds are on the left, the railway is just to the left of that, and a minor road on this side canal. The Ulster Canal, the project now underway at the western end, the reopening has begun, and we look forward to reaching Clonus and Smithborough in the not too distant future. In the GAA grounds at Smithborough, there is an old tunnel where the railway ran under the road. The tunnel has been infilled, and a beautiful painting of a steam engine, the last steam engine to go through the tunnel and through Smithborough. A local poet, T. McPhillips, composed a poem to the last train past Smithborough. I'm going to read the first two verses. About a mile away from where I lay, I could see her coming fast. I could hear her cry with a sad, sad sigh, this journey is my last. No more I'll sail the iron rail, nor the traveller homeward bear. I am sad tonight, though my eyes are bright. They hide my great despair. This poem indicates the end of the railway, and as I've mentioned earlier, the railway too was a factor in the end of the Ulster Canal.